You really need to see St. Louis City 2 games this season at City Park. Nope, that's it. That's the video. I'm your soccer zombie, Tom Franklin, and... oh, I have to explain myself? St. Louis City 2 will be entering its third season in MLS Next Pro. That's right, I said third season because the main team has only played one season, but this will be the third season because City 2 started a year before the main team in 2022. In fact, Roman Berkey was the starting goaltender for City 2. It's true. It happened. He was there, in goal. I was there at Ralph Cordy Stadium. It happened. And their third season might be their best season for reasons that I will explain in this video. And yes, you should check them out. The game day experience at City 2 this year at City Park is being completely revamped. Not that it was bad last year, just maybe incomplete. I don't think the team expected as many people to actually show up for these games as actually did. We broke MLS Next Pro attendance records last season. Many felt that maybe more could have been done to engage fans at these games besides the game itself. Well, this team does listen to its fans, because after all, football lives through its fans, right? And this team has made some excellent changes this year that should really improve the game day experience. There's going to be a new and renewed focus on family-friendly activities for one. In fact, there's going to be a supporters camp where kids can bang drums and wave flags in the supporters section. That is really cool, I think. There's also going to be kid PA announcers announcing the starting lineups and goals and substitutions. That's going to be a nice fun little twist there. Face painters are going to be in the concourse painting faces. There's going to be meet and greets and autographs after each game. Like, they already did a good job of that last season, I felt, but I think it's very important for a young child to meet their heroes. Like, I grew up a big Blues fan, obviously, and I remember meeting Brett Hull and Brendan Shanahan after a charity softball game, and they were signing autographs for everyone, and Brett Hull could not have been a nicer guy. Like, he might as well have been a Greek god to me, and when I was 8 years old. Of course, he's an ordinary human being like everyone else, but it is such a big thing for a child to meet a hero, even one that plays for City 2. It just makes a great impression, so I'm glad they're opening up fan access to the players in that regard. One big change, and one that I discussed earlier, there is going to be more concession stands at these games. There were long lines last season at the few concession stands that were open, but it sounds like the team has responded to that. More concession stands. In fact, Wally's is going to be there at every game this season, so that means you can get your popcorn and your barbecue sandwiches, which, by the way, if you've not had Wally's barbecue chicken sandwich yet, it slaps. I'm telling you, it's really good. There's also going to be food and drink specials and a kids meal, and I think those food and drink specials are going to be great because, again, a big appeal of City 2 is towards families that maybe cannot either get tickets to the main roster or can't afford to go all the time. I love that they're adding these affordable options this year for fans. It really just makes sense. There's been some grumbling that the game tickets have been getting more expensive. Supply and demand, I get it. You know, it's just part of the growth of this team, unfortunately. But now here is the team offering this alternative option for families, and I think it's just a really great idea overall. Tickets are $13 per match for adults. $13. Now, you can get into some Cardinals games for $13, but they have to be playing pretty badly for that, I think. Blues games, if you can get in for $13, let me know, because, yeah, $13 tickets for the Blues just aren't a thing anymore. They used to be when I was growing up back in the day, but, you know, everything's more expensive nowadays. But another benefit to these games is that most of the games take place on Sundays. More on that in a bit when we go through the schedule, which means parking at St. Louis parking meters on Sundays is free. 100% free. You don't have to pay a dime to park on Sundays in downtown St. Louis, so that's another plus. But here's something that's even cooler, at least in my opinion. I'm a season ticket holder for City 2 this season for the first time, and a big reason for that is because season tickets are just $125 for all 14 home games. That works out to an average of about $9 per game. And if you're a family of 4, like I was talking about, you get a bigger discount. Families of 4 can get a package of 4 season tickets for $400. $7 per game for a family of 4. That is $28 per game for a family of 4. And we're talking about kids specials, food and drink specials, free parking at meters. I mean, City 2 is going to make things so affordable for you to go out just on a nice afternoon in the spring, summer, early fall and enjoy a game and watch the future of St. Louis City SC right before your eyes. I think it's just a great program they have going on here. Now, if you've never been to a St. Louis City 2 game, just a couple notes. Only the lower bowl is open for these games. I know the press release says it's just the east end, but I do know for a fact that the supporter section on the north end is also open as well. I know that just from the handful of games that I went to last season. The Santos were there, and they were there with drums and flags. Santi Beltran, shout out Flyover Footy, was ever present waving the flag for the Santos. And so I would say there is plenty of seating options. I know it doesn't sound like a lot with just the lower bowl, but the east end and supporter section, you should be able to find a seat with plenty of space. And now on to the schedule itself. And as I mentioned, 14 home games this season. You can see the schedule over here. 10 of those home games are on Sundays, and all but 2 of the 14 home games start at 6 p.m. I feel that's kind of a happy balance between too early when families have their own soccer games that they got going on, or they got their own errands. Like people, they do stuff on Sundays, that aren't sports related necessarily. But at the same time, they don't want to stay up too late on Sundays because it's a school night. So I feel 6 p.m. is kind of a happy balance for that. Obviously, they can only do one Saturday because the main team plays on Saturday nights. So that's not really a great option for having these City 2 games Saturday nights. Usually Sunday is the other weekend day, and I feel 6 p.m. is kind of a happy balance for families. And as a reminder, if you missed my 2024 planning video, which you can catch up right above my finger here, Musa Seca and I will be doing post-game recaps of City 2 games on this very channel. The only game that I will miss this season is April 7th, because that is when I will be in Ireland on my Speedrunning the English Footy Experience road trip. We're going to do post-game recaps where it will be from City Park, recorded at least to start, and we're working on a location for where we will do them. But yes, we will do post-game recaps here on this channel. And I don't know if anyone else in the YouTube sphere is doing anything like that for City 2. I think we'll be the first ones. And we're glad to bring that to you, because not every one of you can attend every game, or not every one of you can watch every game. So, at least let us be your pathway into the team, and so you can follow the future of St. Louis City SC. But now comes the question of who you're going to see wearing City Red this season for City 2, and there's some news out this week about that as well. City 2 released its initial, and I emphasize initial, roster this week. And there's some interesting names on it, and there's some interesting names off it. Now, one name that kind of surprised me was Michael Wenzel. I saw his name on the roster over here, and I think a lot of people thought that Wenzel might be promoted to the main roster to be kind of like a fifth defender after Lucas Bartlett left. But he is listed on City 2 for now, so we'll see if that's actually a permanent thing. Again, initial rosters. Johnny Klein, still listed on City 2. Now, I'm biased as a fill-in St. Louis University public address announcer when Mr. Soccer is unavailable, but I think Klein deserves a spot on the big roster, at least in a depth role. He is a hard-working midfielder / forward. He's the all-time City 2 leading scorer. He had a bicycle kick goal, which I'm showing you right now, that was named the MLS Next Pro Goal of the Season last year. I was there for it, right behind the goal, and it was just an absolute golazo, and just a testament to his hard work. But for now, Klein is listed on the City 2 roster. We'll see what the team's plans are for him this season and beyond. Time will tell. Speaking of SLU, the name Betcher stood out to me as Ryan Betcher joined City 2 this season. I did some research, and yes, he is a cousin of Simon Betcher, who was drafted by the Vancouver Whitecaps in the MLS Super Draft a couple years ago. And he got a bit crowded out in the Pacific Northwest. He actually was sold this offseason to AC Horsens for what Transfer Market is reporting about a $450,000 fee. I think it's actually a good move for Simon because that's a good league he's going into, the Danish Superliga, and he should get some, pretty solid playing time on a mid to lower table team in the Danish Super League. But Betcher was a standout for a lot of years at St. Louis University, and he is a cousin of Ryan Betcher, who now plays for City 2. Just one of those small world things. Wanku Zane is back. Exciting news. He has been a standout for City 2 since its inception. For the past 2 seasons, he's had at least 10 goals or more each season, so it's good to see him back. I know he was a free agent. He was out of contract this offseason, but they are bringing him back, so it's good to see him. Couple names that I'm surprised I didn't see on the roster, at least not yet anyway. Jose Kojima and Brandon McCarthy are not on the City 2 roster yet. They, of course, were the most recent Super Draft picks of St. Louis City SC this past year, first and third round respectively. Both have seen preseason action at Coachella this year. I think both have looked pretty good in the 2 games that I've seen. McCarthy seems like a very active forward. Kojima's been playing kind of the 6th role, like where Blom plays. And I like his hustle. I like his intelligence on the field already. I think he is a candidate to make the main roster. I think it just kind of depends as much on him as it does logistics, because he will command an international slot if he does make the main roster. McCarthy, of course, is a forward, and I think he's going to be a bit of a project. I think he could stand out at City 2, but he's not listed on the roster yet, but we'll see where his future lies along with Kojima's. Again, I think Kojima could be on the big roster this year. One of their goalkeepers I noticed is Sam Gomez. They signed him this offseason. He was a star goalie at SIU Edwardsville and was their goalie for their resurgence last season. In fact, they beat SLU at City Park in their annual rivalry game there. So that was a big upset win for SIUE, and he backstopped that. So another local connection that kind of jumped out at me there. And then perhaps the most important thing to note about this roster is the 6 players coming up from St. Louis City Academy. Jackson Delkis, Anthony Foppel, Riley Gibbs, Kai Yeager, Mikey Lay, and Carson Locker get the promotion to MLS Next Pro this season. And that's an exciting thing, not just to see what they have to offer on City 2 this season if you're going to the games, hopefully you will, but also a testament to how this young club, only in existence for really effectively a couple seasons, only have 1 pro season under its belt, already is promoting academy players to its MLS Next Pro team, already 6 of them. It's a testament to the culture that this team is building. Luke Spinashield was on 101 ESPN on Thursday, the day that this is being recorded. He was asked specifically about young players that are ready to step up, and he didn't name names. He basically said that there is, for one, he said there's opportunities because there's just more competitions this year with the CONCACAF and the Open Cup and the Leagues Cup. But he kind of spoke to more of how he is a whole piece of the pie kind of a guy instead of just pieces of the pie guy. Like it's and I talked with Matt Baker on Twitter about this just a little bit. This team does not rely on big designated players. Yes, Berkey's a standout. Yes, Klaus is a standout. Leuven, Parker, and you need those guys to show the younger players the way. But the culture of this team really requires everyone to pull their weight, whether you're young or old. And the fact, and Lutz's response kind of stood out to me because he didn't name drop anyone, but he said that everyone basically has a chance, as long as they work hard and, put in the effort and they continue to grow. So I love that response from him on 101 ESPN today on the morning drive. You can check out their podcast on their 101ESPN.com website. Carson Locker in particular is someone that I'm very interested in seeing this season. He's a midfielder with a fair bit of hype going into him this season. He's already trained with the first team club at times this past season, and he's definitely one to watch, not just for this season, but beyond as well. They seem very high on Locker, and I want to see what he does in City 2. But do you plan on seeing any City 2 games this season? And do you like the changes that the team has made to the game day experience at City 2 games? They seem like more than just there now, and that they're actually going to be a big deal for families. And I want to know what your thoughts are on that, and if that's going to entice you to go to any more games this season. Drop a comment below, and please like and share if you're looking forward to more City 2 games this season and content on this channel. I'm your soccer zombie, Tom Franklin, and I'll see you next time. Yes, there's a reason for the peace sign. All will be revealed soon.